Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley and we're going to be in Rome too. This is a 2v2 battle taking place at night, and it's a large, or a pretty huge funds battle. It was custom funds where the rules were, don't spam, play by the honor rules. And what ended up happening is I had a troll ally. So this is his army deployed here. So I don't think he took the rules very much to heart. So he has huge row upon row of these giant ballistas, which is incredible to see. And then the rest of his force is these African elephants. We can go ahead and actually zoom in on these guys. So really going to be a very interesting battle taking place under the full moon here. I did bring some deployables with me, and what I decided to do is I put caltrops all along the riverbed, and what you're going to see is caltrops along the riverbed to block cavalry charges, and then some of those barricades, and then row upon row of artillery piece. This is going to be a formidable position to defend. And then here in the tall grass, what I've hidden is mercenary Etruscan hoplites, pikemen. So I'm set to defend this ally. I wasn't planning on doing it. I was planning on assaulting, but then seeing as my ally had this huge cluster, I was like, alright, I have to defend him. So most of my force is going to be aggressive. I was not going to be resigned to camp. I just left enough token forces to at least make sure he wasn't completely routed. The rest of my force is going to be moving up. We're playing against an Arverni force and a Bactrian force. And at this point, once our opponents started to spot the what my ally had done, this player here, the Arverni player who was the host, started to like cuss him out. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, you're such a bitch. I fucking hate people like you. Like, just, and then there's this shitstorm happening in the chat. I don't think, no, it won't let me pull up the chat log. Be funny if it could. But yeah, there's this shitstorm happening in the chat log. They're not gonna attack this guy. They're both bombarding each other with insults before the battle even begins. And meanwhile, I'm like, okay, I'm just kind of sitting here while it happens. And I decide, if they're gonna duke it out in the chat, that's fine. I'm gonna actually advance and duke it out in battle. So that's always my take. I don't like sitting in the back and waiting for the battle to come to me, so I'm going to take it to the opponents, even if it's going to mean I'm outnumbered. So I have my Epirote forces pushing forward. Like you saw there, I have two pikemen units backed up by two Agrianian axemen. I like bringing these guys because pikemen can hold the enemy at bay, and then usually the enemy tries to swarm around you, and that is the perfect time to deploy Agrianian axemen who have, close quarters, armor-piercing missiles, and that's exactly when you want to hit his troops. If you can keep these guys around the rear of the pikes, wait for the enemy to expose his rear or flank, and then you hit them, super cost effective. So anyways, that's my combination there. On the far left, I have Aspis Companion Cav moving forward. They're going to be scouting out this wing of the battlefield. Now, I'm not sure if my opponent has any like hunters or other units moving up the flank, so I'm being a little cautious when I advance. And then on the far side here, I have the remainder of my force moving forward. In the center, Hellenic Royal Guard. Like I said, this was custom funds, so you're going to see a lot of really high tier units. And I'm a little bit confident pushing forward. I mean, I do have the backing of a artillery battery set up behind me. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16, so that's 48. Total ballistas, because there's 3 for each. Oh no, there's 4. So 64 64 pieces of artillery? That's absurd. Okay, so that's why I'm pretty confident. Anyways, over here I'm pushing forward on the right flank with 2 mercenary Cretan archers backed up by some mercenary Samnite warriors. I have pulled in a Hellenic Royal Guard just to guard these African elephants. And you may have seen a little bit earlier, there were some Bactrian horsemen trying to push around the flank. I was a little worried about units going over here and just ninja attacking our forces, and so that's why I've redeployed some pikemen to hold this front. And then we're going to be going for a bit of a pincer movement with my force. Yep, there you can see Bactrian Royal Guard, so I'm not quite sure how much is pushing on this flank, but I'm pretty confident, like I said, with the artillery support. As long as I stay within this huge killing field, I'm pretty confident. But nonetheless, I'm going to push forward aggressively because I really thought it was unfair what my ally did, so I'm going to take the fight to our opponents. Arverni is going to be approaching with Oathsworn Spear Nobles, so a good way to push forward. Spears in the front. They have nice big shields. They can repel cavalry charges. So I'm going to be a little cautious with how I deal with this. Had I had some nice swordsmen, that would be an excellent way to beat back spears. Alas, as Epirus, you don't really have access to that great swords, or at least cost-effective swords, so I'm going to mostly just shy away, pull over to that flank, and then in the center, I'm pretty happy to, you know, let his guys wash into me with my Hellenic Royal Guard. I'm going to be pulling in some of my own mercenary Indian elephants that I brought. Aha! And on that flank, you can see some of the enemy that was trying to sneak past us. I got some early shots off and just kept them from sneaking past our line. So they're going to recede back into the fog of war, but I'm pretty sure we were able to keep them from slipping past us. The elephants, you can watch my troll ally. This is the troll general here. He rides on troll elephants to the battlefield. He's just wandering around in the back. I'm just waiting for our artillery to be within range. Looks like, ooh, his force over here is getting underway. He charged in with some cavalry and I was able to pick him off actually with my pikes. He wasn't expecting me to have forces on the flank. And now here comes the main charge down in the center. This is right when the artillery is going to start to unload. My Hellenic Royal Guard is going to be standing strong in the center. And some of the artillery is actually going to start doing a lot of damage to me. But this is epic stuff. Pikes holding strong in the forest, and then the huge just artillery bombardment coming in. So he's starting to get around my rear. From the front, I'm pretty comfortable. So the bombardment has begun. From the front, I'm holding pretty strong. On the right hand, I've been able to beat back the heavy horse. My Ogrian and Axeman tearing into his heavy horse. That's why, like I said, I keep them in close support. These guys are breaking through, threatening to break around my rear. One pikeman force is going to be holding the flank. We have Gallic hunters shooting at me, and then we have a huge cluster of troops trying to penetrate through the center. I'm going to deploy my mercenary Indian elephants. Meanwhile, back here, I'm doing a falling back retreat. Ooh, wow, look at the forest just go up in flames here. So combined with that assault is going to be an Indian elephant charge. And this is not a position you want to be with these Gauls. Here comes a couple more volleys. Lighting the forest on fire. Elephants in the mix. So this is rapidly going to send these guys into a panic. A lot of these shots actually narrowly missing my elephant. So I'm very, very lucky. My ally being super reckless in that capacity. Let's watch this. A couple more shots whizzing over. Oh my god. Targeting the cav, really epic stuff. So much damage being done to the Gauls as they try and penetrate through the center. I'm holding back his cav. Nothing has gotten behind me. Now my reinforcements, including my Aspis companions, are going to clean that up. I'm penetrating with my other Aspis, so I should be able to destroy that. On this front, we've been able to hold the enemy back at bay. I had to sacrifice mercenary Samnite warriors, and I'm telling my ally, you know, focus fire on this front. Why are you, I mean, you're making it rain all up on this side, which is good, but the focus should really be here where I've tied down the enemy blob. If he can focus fire here, this would be way more cost effective. I'm sacrificing one unit to force him to blob up. Now he is targeting this force, and the elephants are coming back here to support, so that should be able to hold the enemy back. My war elephants are here. Oh my god, another brutal engagement. And here comes the troll general himself once again, coming in for the win. So the African elephants and the Indian elephants. Here, some international combined fire to destroy these guys. And it looks like, ooh, let's watch actually from the perspective of the artillery as it starts to get its batteries. Oh, new target has been found. Want to get some shots of this. Oh my god, so cool. So let's see what they're shooting at. Pop on the HUD just so we can see. So he's going to be targeting this blob, and oh my god, you can tell why the enemies were pretty reluctant to attack, because look at the barrage they're subjecting themselves to. I mean, they're not doing the best job of avoiding fire, and my ally is blobbing his shots, so they could have easily baited out shots against weaker targets. So they're not handling this as well as they could have. They're falling victim to the troll general. And my guys are going to continue to try and fall back. It's just delaying tactics. There are troops pushing forward on this front where I have pikemen to hold back. War elephants are pulling back. And on that front I have seized victory. Hellenic cataphracts are coming after me, but I just can't get enough of the carnage being dealt in the woods. These palm trees are not going to be around much longer. God, so cool. And then in the distance, you can see the elephants. I don't know how you muster up the courage to do one of these types of attacks. I mean, you're here as an archer, you see in the distance elephants rumbling past you, and then there's a river, and there's an artillery fortress essentially over there. How are you supposed to get the courage to move forward? That's freaking brutal. Now we are losing some artillery. It looks like some of it was my ally shooting his own artillery. Yeah, one of those ballistas going down. Some of the shots falling short. My troops are going to be pulling back across the riverbed. And now we're going to be reforming right at the banks of the river. And this, you know, as opposed to our opponents' field of view, this is the field of view you want to have. You're sitting pretty, defenses in front of you, and artillery shots whizzing overhead, suppressing everything. This is the side you want to be fighting for. That is so freaking cool. You can see some of the enemy shots trying to fire, trying to get our elephants to run amok, and you can't tell what's going on in there. And then every once in a while, you see. Let's watch that point. Oh my God! Look at all the trajectories. It's a little quiet. There it goes. Boom. So the enemy is slowly creeping up in these compact formations, taking tons of damage. I finally cleaned up this front, lost a lot of my elephants, but not after 128 kills were inflicted on the Oathsworn. Pikes have recovered. We're now cleaning up the remainder of the enemy force that was over here. I did a counter encirclement with all my remaining troops once I seized that flank. And then we have some cataphracts going to try and penetrate, and I turn around at the last minute, catch these guys, and that's going to be the end of the effective resistance on this side. My own cavalry circling around the back, so I'd say I'm doing pretty well being an aggressive player, fighting against two armies on this front. But I mean, a large part of it was due to the war elephant blob swarming around me to help out, and then the artillery support really drawing away the opponent's attention. He has war elephants chasing Bactrian archers who have been firing fire arrows into the war elephants, which is causing them to run amok. So these elephants, I believe, are out of our control, so they're being drawn out of combat, which is a good move for our opponents. They're trying to pull them away from the main thrust of the battle. So now they're going to try and push a little further. But now we've pulled back to the riverbed. And now, finally, this is the approach they wanted to have on our defensive formation. They're going to be firing kind of blankly. Again, let's take the perspective here. You can kind of see through the reeds what's happening. Giant war machines looming overhead, and then counter shots from my own archers coming in here. And at the last second, you'll turn around and perhaps think that the rear is clear, but that is not the case. I have Aspis companions roaming around. Combined fire just destroyed that guy. Oh my God, no survivors. So yeah, not a single enemy is going to make it across this old school no man's land. And there you have it. I think at that point the enemy was not completely defeated. Well, the Arverni general was, and at this point Bactria was effectively destroyed. He was down to half strength, having not even been able to get close to our forces. We have a lot of defenses left, virtually all the artillery is left, and so I think he admitted defeat at that point, and I don't blame him. I mean, this was a very, very trolly game, a very dishonorable game for my ally. Now, I did benefit from it, but I think I chose the honorable way of attacking and not necessarily sitting back, so it was definitely a fun battle, more entertaining than serious. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let's end the replay and take a look at some of the stats. So yeah, myself getting most of the kills here. A lot of them actually being from the Aspis forces, the Agrianians, and some of the pikes. My ally here actually not getting too many kills. So one thing you'll notice actually is our opponents could have definitely done better. I mean, I killed a lot of units with a conventional force. My ally only killed 521 men. Each of these artillery, I mean, the most kills he got with any single one was 62. So it's more of like a, just a mental factor fight against artillery. If you can get past the artillery barrage and get in close, you're gonna absolutely kill this force. So our opponents, I think, gave up preemptively. Had they had a little bit less blobbing, and had they maybe just dealt with a couple units to stiff arm me, keep me at bay, and then rush the artillery position, I think they definitely could have won that battle. Yeah, they had enough units to rush. They should have definitely plunged forward with their cavalry, just committed to getting to our rear, draw away the war elephants, harass the artillery while the artillery is being harassed, then move forward with your massive oath-sworn cavalry blob. So they could have definitely played that better, and I think even though my allies' build was trolly, it should have been pretty easy to defeat. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Peace out.